Hello, friends, and welcome back. Welcome to the extended. And if you're like, welcome back, what is she talking about? This is an extended version of the reading called Let's Get Real About Our Growth. So this reading is posted October 21st, and just a little backstory. I won't get into it as I do in the first reading, but this is a very hard day for me. It has been actually for years and years. This is 15 years since I've lost a loved one. And this day has always kind of been like a gloomy gateway, that kind of, as fall's always set in, it's almost as though I kind of greet it with open arms, and here comes the suffering again. And this year for where I am at, I'm much more kind of like feeling almost like a phoenix, actually. And really rising from the ashes. I really took the year this year to 2020, for so many of us ripped apart so many layers, to the structures that we had put in place, whether by beliefs or society or the limitations that we had set in place, right? And the things that always did not maybe necessarily align with the path or the purpose that we were actually here truly meant to live. And I feel that 2020 has, been a year of such growth, for myself and for if this reading resonates with you, then probably for yourself too, right? So anyway, let's get into this. So in this extended, we are really looking at the shadow and the light of this growth and what is still left to really come of it. Even as a phoenix rising from the ashes, to get to that point in where you are just so vulnerable and allowing yourselves just to completely burn it down, completely burn the structures, completely start anew, completely rise again. That's where we're talking from today. All right, so we are using the light seers today, and we're just really going to talk about, actually the questions that we're going to start with is the shadow of our growth, and how does this shadow ripple into our lives, and how does that shadow block our growth, right? And then we're kind of gonna pull the light. I think I might pull. I'm not really sure. Okay, let's see. The shadow of our growth here, Spirit. The Emperor. The shadow of our growth. The Emperor, the Moon in reverse, the Page of Wands, and the Nine of Wands. And we are talking about a shadow here. And to me, this, as a shadow energy, this is very much almost that boldness and that bulliness that, you can do it on your own. Right? Like here, this Emperor to me is one with the Moon in reverse, is one who is like, I don't need to trust in the divine. The Emperor is very action oriented. He is driven by the ruling planet Mars, right? And Mars is all about our masculine side. It's all about how we show up within our actions. And to me, very much as a shadow aspect here, this is like that bulldozing power ahead that you can just do it without connecting. And that has not worked for us. That has, in our growth patterns, that is what 2020 has really shown us, is that you cannot just go ahead with the blazing fire of life, because what happens when all the noise dies out? What happens when you aren't able just to show up with the action aspects of your life all the time? Where are you? Where does your soul sit? Are you content or do you fall apart? Right? The shadow to this here and then the Page of Wands and the Nine of Wands behind this, because it's almost as though, it's this bulliness and this kind of like, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to ram charge ahead here and not maybe necessarily pay attention or have the faith. It's almost as a shadow, I kind of feel almost like this ignorance, to going forward as a new beginning, to going forward as a new being, as the Page of Wands here. This is somebody who begins again with new authenticity. And the Nine of Wands is somebody, here are cycles, lessons, hard lessons completed and learned. Let's get a moon card here, Spirit, for... It's time to take action, and the energy is gaining momentum here, you know, with the shadow. And it is time to take action, right? Like, as far as, you know, when we're doing a reading, looking at the shadow of our light and the shadow, the shadow of our growth here and the light that it's going to take to overcome the shadow, or to, you know, not even maybe overcome it, but to remove the shadow all within general, because shadows are nothing more than what we cannot see into. Okay, a shadow isn't necessarily a negative side. It's just something that you are unable to see through. Like the moon in reverse. When the moon is in reverse, there is a lack of faith here. There is a lack of faith that the divine will bring what needs to be. You know, and as this shadow energy, you know, if you're ram charging ahead and you're just so blatantly ignoring the need here to align yourself with some sort of spirituality, you block yourself. You know, and it is time to take action within this growth. Now is the time. Let's clarify this Emperor, though. The Four of Cups and the King of Cups in reverse. This Emperor is this almost, you know, it's like, as I was saying, it is like this ignorance to the depth that is needed. It's almost as though, you know, this Emperor is just so focused on the cups that he sees and, you know, that he's staring at, that he's not even looking at the cup that Spirit's offering. Because he's so blinded here with this moon in reverse, he has no faith. Do not allow your fear to cause that shadow where you think that if you're not doing it yourself, it will not come. You need to have faith. The King of Cups in reverse and this Four of Cups in reverse, you need to have the faith. You cannot go forward just bulldozing ahead here. Let's clarify that moon in reverse. The Death in reverse and the Two of Pentacles. You see this moon in reverse here. It's the refusal to transform. It's the refusal to allow yourself to find a new direction. Because in order for us to go forward, you know, when we refuse to have faith, when we straight up just blatantly say, no, if I can't make this tangibly happen on my own, it just won't happen. You sacrifice that transformation within that, because transformation comes from having faith. A caterpillar crawls into a little cocoon. They turn themselves into complete goo and then trust the process of coming out the other side as a butterfly. A caterpillar doesn't understand all behind it. It probably sounds awful to a poor little caterpillar. Go into this tight little cocoon. You're going to be, you know, all locked up for a little bit. Your body's completely going to decompose of what it actually was before. You are going to become this giant goo, and magically you become a butterfly. But if a caterpillar tried to actually like process that all themselves and put it into some sort of understanding, that caterpillar probably wouldn't want to go in that cocoon. And this is the part of the moon in reverse. You see, you can't just go forward and think that you have the control here. You have to have the faith. Page of Wands upright, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and the King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Hanged Man in reverse. You know, if you are being so naive and just going forward and thinking that you can only, you know, you'll be able to be fine on your own. If you just kind of like are childish and not acknowledging of the steps that are needed here of actual growth, you will not change. Life will not change for you. Patterns will continue to turn again and again and again. That is what is in that darkness. When we refuse to grow, change will not happen. I will not sit here and lie to you about that one. Nine of Wands. The shadow here is that if you refuse to change, the change will not happen. If you refuse to have faith in something beyond yourself, you cannot make it happen, because in order for those things to happen, you must align yourself to your intuition. You must align yourself to a soul-led life. You can't go in ego-led. That is what this Emperor is saying. You can't go in ego-led because you have to transform. You have to be soul-led so that you have the ability to transform within that life. How does this shadow energy ripple into our lives here, Spirit? It affects us. Look at that. The sun. It affects our happiness. It affects what we begin. It affects what we grow. It affects our love. The Sun, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups in reverse. You know, the shadow energy of not having faith in life removes all of our happiness. It takes away our blessings. Because when we are so focused and we are so controlling over the outcome of life, we gyp ourselves of the life that is actually meant for us to be or for us to have. Right? The Sun is the Two of Pentacles here. And the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. There is a need here for flexibility. You know, we have to have faith that the pentacles have been planted, and the way that they are going to be harvested, the way that they bloom is going to best serve us. That is what having faith is about. And if you can't have that kind of faith, then your growth, I'm sorry, is going to be very stunted. It's going to be very hard to continue to grow, because until you acknowledge that there must be that flexibility within the action and the spiritual sides of our lives, you don't go forward. You don't. I know this. Been there, guys. I've done that. The Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles was the Five of Swords. And the Chariot, because you block out what is for you. You know, if you refuse to have the faith in the things that don't make sense, you won't be able to explain. The Two of Cups was the Two of Cups in reverse both times. That's crazy. You block out love. In all sort of duality aspects. It's not just romance. It's connections to other souls. Because when you are so focused on just the action side of your life, you will be very lopsided, my friends. You will. You will be so lopsided. It will be very hard for you to see the growth that is needed here in your life, to find the equilibrium, to find the balance within life. How does the shadow block our growth? The Knight of Cups. The shadow stops the opportunities. The fear stops our opportunities. It stops our growth. It brings imbalance. The Justice in reverse, the Fool in reverse, and the Three of Swords upright. You know, the shadow energy of thinking that we can just go forward and bulldoze ahead and not have a need for a higher, not connect to some sort of divinity, whatever that is. And again, that's beyond religion. Okay, so don't ever think that I'm preaching religion here, because I'm not. I'm preaching spirituality. Okay? Freeness of self. Understanding your soul and how your soul longs to connect to a divine. You know, and again, the Lord does not fit into the box of religion. How this shadow is blocking our energy. Look at that. It blocks our opportunities with the Knight of Cups. It blocks the love. It blocks all of, you know, the emotional fulfillment that we're needing within our lives. It blocks what we need to hear from other people. It blocks, you know, it just blocks it all. Because our need to maintain control over our lives is that Emperor and the Moon in reverse. You know, when we are like, no, I'm going to control every aspect of it, we remove the ability for blessings to come in. We set up barriers. And that is not what we're doing in life, guys. You set up boundaries, not barriers. Okay? Boundaries keep out what's not wanted. Barriers keep it all out. The good and the bad, you know? Boundaries just keep out what's not needed. But the love still can come in boundaries. This shadow here, you know, this inability to have faith, it leaves you in this place of imbalance, of karmic imbalance. It leaves you with this inability to go forward, to have faith in what is just to come, to have faith in what will be. It leaves so much heartache. Again and again. It will repeat that way. The cycles will continue to repeat that way. They do, until you understand that there is a need here. You know, it's the Four of this Justice in reverse was the Four of Pentacles in reverse, because there's that inability to even see self-worth. And you know, it's sometimes kind of funny how we can go ahead so independently and think that we can like blaze this trail for ourselves and, you know, be mighty and bold and courageous. And yet, you know, we act as if, you know, we are this mighty pentacle or this guy holding down all of these things, right? And yet within that kind of place of holding down all those pentacles and being like, well, this is mine and this is how this is, we still feel unworthy. See, it's that imbalance. Because it's like you can have all those things, but unless you have that spirituality, unless you have that connection, unless your soul feels it, it doesn't matter how many fucking pentacles you have anyway. You will still feel hollow. It will still be imbalanced. See how that works out together? The Fool in reverse here. That was a few. That Fool in reverse. Look at that. You take away everything. The Ten of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Judgment. That shadow blocks your clarity. It blocks the fulfillment for you. It blocks the fulfillment, the emotional fulfillment for the others around you. It blocks a life that is meant for you. There is a need here to connect. There is a need to grow. There always will be. In every aspect. You know, and growing never stops. Okay, our growth never stops. Let's see. Can we get a moon card here for how the shadow ripples into our lives? Be bold and make the first move. You know, and when that shadow ripples into our lives, it is important that we take that step. That we acknowledge how that shadow is playing in and that we say no more. I am bigger than the shadow and I am taking control here. I am aligning myself to something different. I am making the first move of healing. And how does this shadow block our growth? Can we get a moon card here for how this shadow blocks our growth, Spirit? Conclusions are within reach and a tough end, and the end of a tough cycle approaches. When we open ourselves up here to the need for spirit, to the need to connect, that's where these endings of these tough cycles begin to actually form. That's where healing actually begins to take place. All right, let's look into the light here. Let's see the light of our growth. What is the light of our growth here, Spirit? What is the light of our growth? The Five of Pentacles. The light of our growth here, Spirit. The Six of Wands in reverse. And the Four of Wands. I almost feel like this light is like, see here in this card, it's like the moonlight coming in and unlocking this, showing her the key here. I feel like that was really Spirit here. You know, in the Six of Wands in reverse and the Four of Wands in reverse, and these are such liberating cards. And the light here is this acknowledgement of moving past this place of not feeling acknowledged, past this place of not having the happiness, always being left out in the cold, never feeling worthy, never feeling like that happiness was coming here. You know, the light here is the moonlight showing us there is a key here to go forward. You do not need to sit in the phase of this Five of Pentacles. You do not need to suffer. You do not need to be here, the Hierophant. That Five of Pentacles is the Lord. It's the connection here that's saying, come to the light, come to the healing. The Six of Wands in reverse was the Wheel of Fortune. Because there is this need here, you know, that light was that light upon, you know, 2020, where it shone that light upon self, on where you really needed to look at yourself, where you really needed to, you know, liberate yourself from that past of thinking you were not enough, thinking that you could never be more than the suffering. And the Four of Wands was the Star. Thinking that you would, you know, your prayers and all those hopes and those dreams, that they would never be answered, right? The light here is this dawning that there is a way to go forward. There is a way to find change. This is the time. It's the growth that is within you. It is this process that you are going through, right? How does the light ripple into our lives? How does this light ripple into our lives, Spirit? The Hermit, the Knight of Swords in reverse, and the Hierophant again. Isn't that interesting? And this light ripples, it's almost as though this light has rippled all the way through kind of 2020, right? And it was this need to really find what the path looked like of your own soul growth. And it's one that we only walk on ourselves. This girl isn't sitting up here with a whole crowd of people shining light. No, she's here by herself. She walked that path all alone. She found her way until she found the light within inside her, until she found that peace within inside her, the light that actually connected her to what she needed to go, her to her purpose. Justice in reverse clarified that. It was that need to really find peace for all the injustice. She needed to sit with herself so that she could find the balance, because there was balance where that was. The Devil in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. The light here and how it really rippled into her life or into our lives was this light that came in to really show the imbalance within ourselves and where the structures needed to crumble, what needed to be torn down, what we needed to release, where we still needed to show up and continue to put work in, and where we needed to stop feeding energy to. Knight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse was that's funny. Was the Ten of Wands, and then the Knight of Swords in reversed again, and I almost feel like this is just that taking the time, right? The Knight of Swords can sometimes be a very rushed kind of I'm just charging ahead, and how this light really rippled into it was that slow down process where no, this is a heavy work. Okay. This isn't something that you can just rush through. This healing's heavy. It's thick. It's not a process that just can be quickly overpassed. This is something that you actually need to carry those heavy sticks, finish out the growth that needs to be done, address what needs to be done. It's not something that can just be rushed through. Take the time to do it. Take the time to really connect here. The Hierophant didn't just rush through this process of sitting with herself. She looks at peace here. She's not rushing to get away from here, because she knows that in order to really allow the imbalance to change, to allow the structures to fall, to allow herself that time to really look at all that has been and to go forward with, okay, and this is the direction I'm going now, she needs to give it time. She's not rushing it. Let's clarify this Hierophant. The Hierophant, look at that. The Hierophant was the Seven of Wands. That connection. The Hierophant actually is clarified by the Seven of Wands in reverse. And this is to me, it's almost like this connection here and this putting down of the defensiveness that you've had before. Maybe where there was opportunities of growth before and you just couldn't have the faith. I almost feel here it's you're putting down your defenses when it comes to a higher. Yeah, you're opening where you've been blocked before. You're opening that kind of understanding in that channel and being what? Just because my faith doesn't fit inside of a religion doesn't necessarily mean that I don't still have faith. The Lord is bigger than religion. So don't let a religious box hold you in there. And maybe that's, kind of why these wands are in, why this is the way this is. Because who you are authentically, you felt like you had to defend, and maybe you had to defend the structures. Maybe you had to defend yourself against a religion or against family who believed in a certain religion or something, right? But there was something in which you really had to defend yourself here. And Spirit's saying, you don't need to defend yourself to me. Come authentically. Bring it what it is that you are afraid that to be authentic about. Bring what it is that you have been so defensive about. I made you that way, right? That's the connection to the divine. You aren't the way you are because Spirit didn't make you that way. Unless, of course, you're some sick fuck who has some pedophile thing, in which case You shouldn't be watching videos like this. And, but you know what I mean? Okay, like that kind of evil energy doesn't fit into a reading like this, okay? How does the light unblock the path for our growth? How does this light here, Spirit, unblock the path for our growth? The Tower, the Judgment, and the Eight of Pentacles, all upright. It brought down what needed to be crumbled. The light, oh, look at that. And death and rebirth on the bottom. Absolutely. You know, this light that has come in over 2020, this light of the growth that really, you know, sparked that within inside of you. Sparked that need to really look at and look for the key, right? The moonlight that shone the way past this. That urge that was inside you that said, I need to grow. Something's not right and I can't handle this anymore. I need to change. I'm done suffering. Whatever that was, however that rippled into your life here, you know, this light unblocked that path. It said, now is the time for these things to crumble. And however that looked, it could have been relationships, it could have been jobs, it could have been life structures, it could have been a whole bunch of things. But however that tower moment crumbled in your life, it brought this recognition of the world. Okay? It completed the cycles that you were on repeat to. The light said, here is the point for you to actually acknowledge there must be change. The Judgment. Here is the point for you to come forward, to face what all needs to be, where you have not been able to see beyond the veils, where you have closed yourself off here. The light was saying, but now you must focus. Now you must open your heart. Now you must align yourself to be able to see the light on both sides of the veil here. You're going forward here with this Eight of Pentacles and not in the Emperor, with the Emperor in reverse. Not being bossy. Understanding that it doesn't have to go your way for it to still be good. It can go in the way of the divine. Where you haven't had the faith, where you haven't seen the, you know, the lessons for all that they are. There was a complete like deconstruction of all that has been so that you could see the lessons that it served. Okay? The path that opened up before you, because you allowed those structures to come down, because you opened yourself up to the journey. You opened yourself up to the growth that it took. You evaluated where you were as a soul and you stepped up your fucking game. That is what this light has shown you. You know, and if you're still working your way through this, then continue to align yourself to the way that the light is showing you. The light is guiding you. The keys are within you. The answers you need are within you. Okay? Do not trick yourself and say, well, I don't know what those answers are. It doesn't speak to me. Yes, it does. They are within you. All right. What must one focus on to continue our growth here? What must we focus on to continue our growth? That's a lot. The Ace of Cups. Look at that. The opportunity that Spirit has given us. The Magician behind that. The power is all in our hands. There's the Wheel of Fortune behind that, and then the Star. Our prayers have been answered. You know, where we have not been able to go forward before. This is the time. We are moving, and we might not even be moving in the direction that we, you know, first seen it looking like. But this is the time where we connect to the faith. This is the time where we open ourselves up so that we are able to see where we're going. So that Spirit can just open and align for us what is next. The Ace of Cups, the Magician, the Wheel, the Star, the Three of Wands in reverse, and the Four of Swords. The Three of Wands was clarified by the Page of Swords. And, you know, and this is really like what we must focus on here is maybe not even necessarily, you might not be taking those tangible steps yet. You know, within where you know, okay, this is the move that I'm going to make. Like, you know, that Three of Wands is clarified by the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is kind of like that, almost like that stalker card, right? Where you're like waiting for you're just kind of inspecting, watching, waiting. Not maybe necessarily moving or acting, right? Understanding how Spirit is opening this up. Watch and allow Spirit, have the faith that Spirit is going to open the doors so that when that door opens, you know which way to go. That opportunity is here. The cups are being offered for you. And when that cup is being offered, you have the power within you. Now the times are changing. Now the wheel is changing. Let's clarify that wheel. You know, the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords and the Eight of Swords, yes. And the Ace of Swords, in reverse, actually. Because this wheel is this pause moment. It's saying, just give it time. That peace, that aha moment, that connection that I feel like you're searching for, that like, this is it. This is it. You know, this is what I've been searching for. It's coming, but you need to give yourself that time of self-healing. You really need to do the work here. Don't overlook the work that needs to be done, thinking that if I can just rush this, I will get to the next. That's why that Ace of Swords is in reverse, because we don't know what we're getting to. Because first we actually have to be committed to the growth that needs to happen. It doesn't matter what comes after it. Okay? It's not like, oh, do the growth. There's this shiny thing hanging at the end of it. No, the reason, like this whole aha moment here is that understanding that, wait a minute, I just want that growth. I want the healing. I want the light. I want the peace. What will come, and I'm not worried about what is going to come. I'm just opening my heart up. I'm opening my soul up for the opportunities. I'm aligning myself with the power that is within me so that the change may happen, so the prayers and the blessings may come in. I'm opening my soul up to the blessings of the higher, because what is to come will come when the time is right. I have faith in that. And until then, I'm in the Four of Swords, taking the time to really rest. The beginnings, those Page of Pentacles in reverse is what clarified this Four of Swords. Because now is not a time for actual making tangible, massive, big changes. You know, this isn't saying, okay, yeah, go and message that, you know, individual you haven't talked to and blah, 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 blah. No, this is saying this is about self-work. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Do not worry about the noise of the world. Worry about yourself. Do your growth. Okay? Do your fucking growth. I forgot to pull moon cards again. Gosh darn it. Why do I do that? All right. Let's get a moon card here, though. Let's get a moon card for the light of our growth. For the light of our growth, meditate and contemplate. Absolutely. So important. You know, allow Spirit, allow your time that peace, like the Four of Swords, you know, it came out twice, right? On these actions that we need to be taking, you know, what we must focus on to continue our growth. Meditate, contemplate, find that peace within. Do that work, right? How does the light ripple into our lives? Can we get a moon card, please, for how the light ripples into our lives? What do you need to release? The light reflects that. The light shines. You know, the light shines away on the things that we do need to release. You know, when we work ourselves through that growth, the light is very, very obvious on what still needs to be fixed. And look at that. How does the light unblock the path? Confidence is your key to success here. You must have faith. You must be confident that what is needed from you is within you. See how that works? Right? All right. Let's pull in angels and in ancestors here. And let's just see, you know, as we go forward, what we're being asked to embrace within this journey of our growth. As we go forward today. Drum. Dream and journey. Journey inwards to uncover insights and information that will be important for your path, then follow guidance. In the shamanic traditions in all four corners of the world, the drum is recognized as the main tool used by medicine men and women to direct their will and aid meditation. A drum beat can become hypnotic and send those listening into an altered state that can allow them to journey to the spiritual realms and meet their guides. When the drum card appears in the reading, there is an opportunity for you to dream or to bring in an inner vision into reality. You are very connected to the other worlds at this time. The wisdom and the intelligence of the earth and her magic surrounds you. The drum, which echoes the sound of Mother Earth's heartbeat, has cleared the cobwebs and the dust from your inner vision. What you have seen in your dreams and inner vision is not imagination, but guidance, particularly if it has been coming to you repeatedly. It has the potential to become reality. Dreams come true. Know it and live it. Wow, isn't that beautiful? And I think we'll finish off with the she who, maybe, or maybe we'll get, let's see. Look at that. Makita again. She who sees. That's funny because I was like, oh, maybe I don't actually really need one. And no, Spirit was like, no, I nailed it the first time. She who sees, Makita. Observe, perceive, and scrutinize. Wow. Isn't that pretty? Oh, listen to your intuition, folks. Just as I was saying, listen to your intuition. All right, let's get one animal card too to finish here. Look at that, the snake. A time to heal. Isn't that beautiful? You know, and the snake spirit talks about, you know, the rawness of a new skin, right? All of us need healing at times, and the snake spirit appears, and when snake spirit appears, it is time to repair, renew, and replenish yourself and your vulnerable heart. Self-care and maintenance work are needed so that your vitality can arise. Give yourself the space to nourish your own well-being. Vulnerability is necessary for friendships and partnerships to work, which means all of us will have tender emotions at times. Be gentle with yourself and others now. Shed the past and step into the new way of being, for vitality is rising in you. This is a good time to honor the work that you have done to heal, grow, and repair any damage within you, within those you care about, and within your community. Celebrate together how far you have all come in your healing journey and all that you have created. Unburden yourself of anything that no longer supports wellness, prosperity, positive relationships, and well-being, and open the door for healing to occur. Guys, I am just, oh, what a beautiful reading for today. Like, seriously, oh, I feel like my soul needed this almost as much as, you know, anybody else's. And one from the untethered soul. Most of life will unfold in accordance with forces far outside your control, regardless of what your mind says about it. And isn't that the truth? Most of life will unfold in accordance with forces far outside your control, regardless of what your mind says about it. And if that is one thing that I have learned in my life, that's fairly truthful. There's a need for faith. There's such a need for faith. All right. I hope you enjoyed these as much as I did. Please, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. That helps to spread this, spread my videos and spread the awareness. If you are not a subscriber, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And if this is something that you want to share, do so too. All right, guys, until next time, take great care of your souls. Bye now.